you know, Thresh, he's going to make it a little bit easier to play against that style, but I'm looking at this and I feel like the Aatrox pick, again, is what gives me the most pause in this, because it just loses its power too early to synergize to the rest of the later parts of the draft. If we had something like a Gragas, I would like it so much more, because it's so much more stable for Rich. It doesn't allow you to fall into that trap of trading poorly. Wonder might get a kill or two in the top side of the map, and it's like deja vu all over again. So feels like all your cards are in, or all your fruits are in the ducked-on basket, whatever analogy you want to use, once again here for Nongshim, unfortunately.
I wouldn't have minded, actually, to see something like a Jace for Rich, potentially. Doesn't necessarily pair fantastically well with the Nidalee CC-wise, but you can still get a bit more priority in the lane. Let's see how it goes as Nongshim try their very best to weather the storm until a later stage of the game. It's no longer this 3 AP junglers. That's a flash from Doctor.
Peanuts here.
Flashes all the way in. They land the spear. Hook is good as well. Good night, Teddy, once again. Overstepping his bounds, and Nongshim, they know where their bread's buttered, and it's the birthday boy.
I think a lot of people are rolling at their eyes at the draft because of that, but hold that thought.
Yeah, I mean, that is, of course, weak side, as Rich is going to flash out of the way of Ona, but he's not the one tanking the turret. Zeus is going to go down, and so is Ona, as Rich gets the double kill. Peanut comes in, primal surge for the assists. I love it. Get that extra goal. Yeah, you land those E's, and Carrier is certainly able to do some work as Teddy lands a good pierce. Hook on to Carrier, though, as he's going to get thrown forward. There's the flash in, and Carrier just says goodbye to the birthday boy. And now they'll grab some plates on their way out. And more 2v2 kills for these guys, as it's a steal away on the Rift Herald here for Peanut. Rich with the World Ender is there, as the Shockwave only lands onto one, and now the slaughter will begin. Yes, they pick up Eye of the Herald, but what do they lose? And 11 minutes in is a very, very late one, as here's the World Ender from Rich. Zeus tries to get the dice. I don't know whether he actually got it. Yes, he did. Trying to get out of the way. Doesn't have flash, though, as Dominus is popped, but unfortunately, it is not enough. Ona, at the same time, going to be taking down the Mountain Drake, and finally, we don't have a Cloud Soul.
Yeah, so it's going to be a big change here, but it's a trade. Oh, hold that thought. His closer is just...
He's well and truly underneath the turret right now.
He is between two.
Yeah, as Pop Blossom down towards the bottom side. There's the Fate's Call as Teddy just executes Kellen. Ona comes on in and easily
you can push the issue so far.
Oh, yeah. And now Ona coming on over, looking to try and steal away this red buff. He should be able to, as a sleep is possible. Carrier wrapping around as Ona does steal away the red, and there it is. Peanut walks right onto the Nico. Blastcone moves him on back. He's burning down, gives him the peace sign, but Carrier just says goodnight. And T1 are all over Nongshim's jungle right now. This is what we call top priority, even though... that one away. So that's going to be the first one for T1 here for this game. As now Kellen moving on forward. Peanut finds himself in position once again. Fate's Call is going to be available, but Pop Blossom goes down first, and now Teddy is trying to fight this one out. Great snare underneath the turret onto Kellen is the immediate call of the week. Double kill comes through. Carrier still trying to get out of this one. He's not going to be able to, but now Peanut's playing Alcove League of Legends when he absolutely doesn't want to, and Shirley is destroying the mid lane.
Yeah, this is a really proactive play from Zeus.
Sleepy buys. That's going to be a Shockwave. That's decent, but Bay's still going to die in the blink of an eye.
Yes, I mean, the mid lane is over.
In the meantime, Nongshim are actually winning a fight here towards the bottom side. Pop Blossom doing a fair bit of work there, but a double kill for Peanut. This is certainly good news as Rich trying to put that money to good use. Now he's underneath the turret. Peanut flashing forward, finds the smite onto Closer, who's just running away, hightailing it out as best he can as Kellen's booking it. He's going super fast, but Closer is going to make it to safety. Dom 2020 goal as well, which is definitely relevant. Let's have a look at what actually happened as T1 were once again on a merry jaunt into the enemy base, and there is unfortunately Kellen with a hook.
Yeah, Kellen has a hook, and they also didn't know where Rich was. Rich makes the escape here impossible, and Bay's just ready to fall. Pop Blossom is going to buy time here, as Closer is just going to use his ultimate to try to maybe trade one back. He does barely get away here, but Nongshim just basically turning this on its head because Rich was able to get in there, and they didn't know he was coming. Just a super powerful combo. Is Kellen, where you at?
Yeah, he's dead. Death Chamber. Wolf, is this I don't know, what are we doing? Closer looking to lock down his blue buff in the meantime, and we'll be able to be successful in that one.
Kellen.
Oh dear. Peanut is in the area as Carrier finds the snare. There's the Pop Blossom, and once again, Kellen is just destroyed. 80 carries like the Callisto. However, when they're this far ahead, That's barely even warrants
exactly
talking about, right? As here's a Baron play for T1. We've got a teleport coming on in here as Rich looking for the backline. T1 are going to peel away as the Baron is very, very low. Zeus finds himself right here as he teleported on top of the ward right in the Baron pit. And Nongshim, they trade teleports, and they do stop the Baron for now.
It was really aggressive play from Nongshim, but ends up being very successful here. But now, can they actually get back into their base?
Yeah. I like the wraparound from Closer as well to make sure that they had the inside track. Double 80 carries now get to work on this inhibitor turret as Zeus making his way through the backside. Nongshim looking at a bit of a pincer maneuver, but unfortunately not able to get their ducks in a row before this inhibitor turret goes down, and now the inhibitor will also fall. So we thought that the Baron play was difficult as that's a solo shockwave onto Closer as now Rich looking for the backline, but unfortunately T1 peel away in the nick of time. There's a hook to land onto Zeus, who tries to turn it now onto Bay. My god, the damage was great before he went down, but he did fall down. Rich in the backside now is looking to try and do what he can as Carrier running circles around everyone, makes it out through the back. And Nongshim, they win yet another fight. It's a 1-0. They lose an inhibitor turret. But still,
they save the inhibitor, right?
That they get as much value from this move as possible. Bay teleporting immediately back over, and as you can see, that wave is slowly but surely dying. Can T1 keep themselves alive is the question as the Baron is taken by the Lucian of all people. Peanut looks a little bit silly as he then dashes back over the wall, but in goes Rich now, finds a lot of AoE damage, but it is eventually pushed away. And it's a successful disengage here by T1.
Otherwise, they might have just gotten killed there in the jungle. And this is the whole base potentially going to be opened up now for Nongshim.
Yeah, Closer just teleports onto the bottom wave. Rich is going to try and answer. And I imagine that Closer probably has enough dashes to get out of the way of the Aatrox Umbral Dash or no. And this is a lot of pressure. There's no turret in the mid lane, of course. So it is dangerous times as Closer dashing over the dissonance. And this turret is going to evaporate. Peanut looking for a bit of a flank here as he's just going to throw a spear into the siege minion. That's sort of indicative of how this game's going, right? Nongshim not going to be fooled by that one, but Closer is pushing minions towards these Nexus turrets. Is now Peanut going to dive in on top of Zeus and Closer dies, unfortunately, as Closer just finishes him off. The second of the double tap is going to do it. Closer just does so much damage, my god! Even the second bullet does a decent percentage of Rich's health bar, who has built mostly health, unfortunately. As there's the flash forward, Bay is going to flash out, but Kellen's not going to be so lucky. The Thresh is down now, and Closer is going to get knocked up right next to the fountain. Zeus is going to be taken here with a command attack, but Teddy is still alive. Carrier goes golden. Pop Blossom denies so much space. Is now Doctum with the close range weaponry. Wants to be a hero. Carrier going to go down first. Rich is massive. Good night, Callista. They lose 2 Nexus turrets and all of their inhibitors, but Nongshim, by goodness, they win a team fight. Production, turn off these lights. We're not going just yet.
We ain't going to a game. We're not going to a 2-0 just yet. There's a chance of a game 3 here, Atlas. And I mean, looking at things, this is another game where Carrier just barely buys himself his life here. This is another game where you give Duckdom the opportunity to have these great team fights later on, and he will take it. Carrier, I think, should be able to get out of here, but
nope. I have a feeling that Rich, with his Gore Drinker, is going to be able to pick that one up. Walks into the brush, and Carrier is unfortunately going to die. 6 super minions at a time.
They're so slow at this. I mean, they have to commit.
Peanut tries to go for the steal, but of course Rend still exists. Was nerfed a little bit a while ago, but unfortunately Smite not going to be enough there. So Teddy gets his eye in, knows how to do it, locks it down.
And T1, all they have to do is just walk down with the minions now, as long as they don't get picked.
Oh no, speaking of picked, but Lantern is going to get them to safety now. Rich trying to be the hero. He survives for a long time, but not long enough, unfortunately. And Rich was the reason why Nongshim were able to survive the last fight as Bay goes down to almost no health. Closer just doing exactly what he wants. And now, this is an open Nexus. That's a one-man shockwave. That ain't going to be enough to Pop Blossom onto both carries at the same time. And Carrier's going to say goodnight to this game. And now you're going to have a difficult task on your hands because you have to decide on who's going to get the player of the game.
Outside of that snafu, as you like to call it,
at the beginning. But, I mean, the damage numbers certainly just say closer, closer, closer. I mean, even Carrier did 5k more than his 80 carry.
I mean, there's so much damage from Carrier in this game, actually. He was even poking and harassing later on. This is the kind of game from T1, though, where I'm not as excited about, like, oh, is this it? Is this the roster? Have we decided that? I don't think we have, but I think this is the roster we see against Damwon Kia. And that series I was already excited for. We were all already excited for.
Yeah.
Suddenly feels like it's going to be even better. Like, if they play like this, I mean, I want to see Closer face off against Showmaker. He's often been a bit of a weak link for that team in the hard times they have had this season on some of those control mages. You put Closer up against him, I don't think he's going to dominate as hard as you did against Bay. But
Thank you very much, guys. And T1 is getting their 6th win of the split and solidifying their spot in the West bracket in the LCK. Nongshim was able to take this Aphelios Thresh comp for their bottom duo, and T1 answered back with Kalista for Teddy, and we saw T1's kind of confidence reflected in their draft. So Nongshim picked Thresh and Nidalee together and then completed the bottom duo comp in the 3rd pick. So T1, even though they knew that it's gonna be Aphelios with Thresh together down on the bottom lane, they were not worried about it. There was no ban card actually going over to their bottom duo. And Kalista Nico was actually very effective, shutting down the power of Aphelios Thresh. You know, Nico, with her clone, she can block the hook coming out from Thresh as well, so they were able to play really hard in the laning phase. So it was a bummer that Nongshim was not able to lock in Victor together with Thresh, because he also has a great synergy with the support champion as well. And Lucian actually was having a very 50-50 game up against Victor in game 1, so T1 took it away from Bay, so Bay was not able to play the lane in game number 2. So Nongshim had a tougher game in the 2nd game of the day. So let's take a look how T1 started to get ahead in the early game. Well, Nidalee did have some rough time with the pathing, but also outside of that, T1 was just able to simply just outplay the opponents. T1 picked up some of the turret plate gold, so Nico was stepping forward for that turret goal, so Kellen actually used his hook to punish that overextension, but Nico was able to actually walk away with that ability, and then they turned it around for a kill. And then we also had the Herald fight breaking out, and Closer was able to shove in the wave prior to that fight. So Oriana, he had to join this fight, but he also had to give up that huge amount of minion wave, falling under the turret. So that was a huge loss for Nongshim, even though they were able to steal away that Herald. Nidalee died, Oriana died, and also she could not farm any of those CS going under the turret, and also bottom duos were falling as well. So that was the start of Nongshim falling behind of T1. And let's take a look at this bottom lane play coming out from Teddy Carrier duo. Nico activated his ultimate, and then Kalista pulled her out. So when she was in a very safe spot, she was able to get her ult off, and then Kalista also at the same time. She sidesteps away from Hook and also the Moonlight Vigil, and then Nico goes back in, lands 2-man snare onto the opponent. So it was a fantastic outplay coming out from the bottom duos of T1. It was really impressive to see T1's bottom duo taking that safe position even under the attack of the opponents. And the player of the game, the POG, will be Closer on the mid lane with that Lucian pick. He was a menace of this game. 40 CS difference at 15-minute mark of the game. This time around, it was a defeat in the Miffy compared to game number 1. And once Lucian gets ahead like this, well, it's not easy for a single player to pop off like this, even though Lucian is a champion that can win lane based on his ability. But this time around, Closer was able to actually dominate this game. Single-handedly carried his teams as well. 749 is the vote number for Closer's POZ for Game 2. Very destructive performance, and he totally owned his lane opponent Bei in this game for sure.